George. Also, you guys good over there?
Check, check, check.
We're joined by Cleetus and Squirrel.
There you go.
We'll go ahead and get this started. Does anyone have a question? We'll start in the middle here with Steven and then back to Dalton.
Right. Steven Toronto, NASCAR pole position. This first question is going to be for Cleetus. It was announced this week that you're going to be running the O'Reilly race at Nashville. Obviously, the plan had been to run here, but you weren't approved by NASCAR to do so. Nashville is a little bit of a...
Way to rub it in.
Oh, sorry about that.
Just kidding.
Nashville is kind of a in-between, kind of a shorter track, like you're currently eligible to run and a mile and a half. So what was the process like at RCR to decide, hey, let's go to Nashville and get some more experience in these cars?
Well, RCR, when we first got the news back from NASCAR, which we kind of expected based on my hectic drive at Rockingham, that we were only approved for the shorter tracks, they really just looked at it as Nashville's probably a safe bet considering the slower speeds in the turns, more time for me to just learn the car and the horsepower, and it aligned with my schedule. Tommy's Express, it all aligned with them, so it just kind of worked out on its own. We didn't pick Nashville with any other intention of it just kind of working out, and hopefully if I do well in Nashville, I can keep working my way up bigger tracks and make it to Daytona in the spring.
And speaking of bigger tracks, this will be a question for Squirrel. It feels like only a couple weeks ago that you made your ARCA East debut at Hickory. So between that and now going from Hickory to Talladega, how crazy is it to think that you're going from short track like that to the biggest and baddest track possible?
Yeah, it's not too crazy. We were out here in Crown Vic, so I'm pretty used to speed. Did probably 50 laps in a Crown Vic, got her up to 160. So that was pretty great. Hickory, then we went to Rockingham, then Kansas. They're all pretty fast, baby steps. ARCA had me do baby steps. It wouldn't let me do Daytona. Now we know I got it, so I'm feeling really good. I'm going to be driving much more aggressively now because I was on the road to Dega, but now I'm here. So I'm here to win. We're going to be shaking and baking.
He texted me last night. He said, I'm letting the cat out of the cage at Dega. So,
that's right.
He's been on probation essentially until this moment. Y'all are going to see a whole different Squirrel, I think. By the way, he didn't put a scratch on his car the last 3 races, so he did a great job.
3 clean races and 1 top 10.
I felt like a shake and bake was coming. Thanks, guys.
We'll go in the back to Dalton.
Squirrel, Dalton Hopkins with Front Stretch. Have you been introduced to the Talladega Boulevard?
Well, Dalton, let me tell you a little something about the road to Dega. It originally started with our good buddy Greg Biffle and our cheap RV challenge last year, where we had one of the greatest RVs of all time. I believe she was a 1986 Winnebago. We called it the Dega Bega. We drove here. We camped out on Dega Boulevard the entire time we were here.
We had fans come into our RV while we were sleeping.
3 a.m.
We know the Dega Boulevard.
Very well. And we're glad to be back.
And Cleetus, a follow-up for you. How important is it to have a place like that with the lore that it has to attract fans into this sport?
Well, Talladega is quite possibly the most lawless place I've ever been. Inside, it's almost its own country. And I just really can't believe how incredible it is inside the racetrack of Talladega. You're entering a new country. I'm surprised they don't ask you for a passport. I'm surprised they don't rip your sleeves off. But like you said, the lore, the aura of Talladega is definitely like nothing else. It is way better than all the racetracks as far as having a good time goes. It's incredible.
All right, we have a question all the way in the back. I'm sorry, I can't see very well.
I think what he was asking about was, how do you feel that you can bring so many people to it and they're supportive? Is that kind of what you were getting at?
I blacked out.
Look, we just got a lot of really great Americans that are ride or dies with us, And that's the best feeling in the world.
Dude, there's people hanging out for practice.
Exactly.
They're just fired up. I mean, they're at Dega.
Glad to be here.
They're all sleeveless,
Yep.
watching us turn left,
Americans.
coming out to support us at Dega. I love
One
it.
other thing about Dega we do know, but we haven't seen, is there's a Dega jail. We've been threatened with it, but now that we know the boss man at Dega, I'm honestly not worried at all. You, Cleet?
No, I was actually thinking whoever finishes lower or finishes worse should have to spend the night in Dega jail.
I'll sleep on that one.
All right, we'll go ahead in the back.
Whenever your first race, just what was your first experience kind of going at speed into the corners? I did the track experience, and I'm like, oh God. But is it kind of normal when you've done it at other tracks, or is this kind of different when you're going into turn 1 here?
Okay. I would say Talladega is probably the easiest because it's so wide and it doesn't have the kind of drop that Daytona has. So, just because I drove Daytona first, I think when I came to Talladega, I was really feeling comfortable. George McNutt here, your first ever super speedway was just right now. Tell us.
Yeah, my first ever time doing it in a real car was just now 5 laps. So far, Rockingham is my favorite track. 10 times scarier than Talladega, I'll have to say. Because you're going in there and you just have to trust that the car's going to make the turn. It certainly doesn't feel like it's going to, and then you're just pedal to the floor. But here, it's great because you don't lift. You just turning left and going fast. It's the most American thing on planet Earth.
Are there any final questions? We'll go back to Steven.
I did want to ask one follow-up question just to set the record straight about the motor at Kansas last week. It was I think it was a crimp in the oil line. So did you guys did your team get that straightened out and find out what the problem was?
The team does not crimp the oil lines in this situation, and the oil line was crimped by a third party, and based on what I saw, it just looked like it was improperly crimped, just not fully seated in the fitting, which we make crimped, fittings at our shop all the time. I've messed up several in my life. Just wasn't crimped properly, and after 70 laps, it just couldn't hold, 80 psi and blew all the oil out.
So it just fell out?
The fitting was fine, and then the line was just there, and you could see the end that was crimped, and it just slid out of the fitting.
All right. Yeah, just figured I'd ask because I saw that in the video, and I didn't want any misinformation out there like you were trying to talk with Brendan about.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
We'll come right up here in the front.
Hey guys, I'm at the ABC 3040 here in Birmingham. We do a lot of football throughout the year, so I always have to ask people to come to Dega. Think about your answer here, Alabama or Auburn?
Alabama or Auburn? Roll Tide.
Really, you're Roll Tide. Honestly, I don't. All right, then I'll go with you on that, Roll Tide. That's what everyone gets us to say when we're out and about. I mean, I feel like it's way more common for us.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Also, Sam Spray Wax, baldeagle.com, 10% off. Use code DEGA.
Also, heatwave.com, use code McNutt, 10% off.
Also,
Shake and bake.
My Place Hotels is your perfect racing pit stop. Gear up for comfort and take the checkered flag on savings. Book today and enter promo code FRONTSTRETCH for 10% off your stay.